Yo, welcome back to Jets Media. You guys heard me last when the Jets traded for McCole Hardman. Then I had to go somewhere. And when I was gone, the Jets traded Elijah Moore to the Cleveland Browns. Wow. All right. Well, if you guys know me, you know that I was standing on my prediction that the Jets are not trading Elijah Moore. And I can sit here and tell you guys that I was wrong. And I can admit when I'm wrong. And that's okay. That's part of being a Jets content creator is you're right sometimes, you're wrong sometimes. And I always believe that the Jets valued Elijah Moore highly enough that they don't want to trade him away. So the New York Jets traded away Elijah Moore and a third-round pick for this year to get back a second-round pick. Now, the one thing I will say that makes me believe the Jets made this move is for this reason. Is because Elijah Moore demanded a trade. And we don't even know if Elijah Moore even wanted to still play with the Jets. Maybe there was something deeply rooted in this organization that he just didn't want to be a part of. Maybe it wasn't just Zach Wilson and Mike LaFleur. And we know that the New York Jets, they doubled down when Elijah Moore requested that trade and said, we're not trading you. We value you high here. And they didn't trade him. And now here we are where the New York Jets officially ship him out. And the trade package, we essentially moved up in the draft from round 3 to round 2. I think Elijah Moore is more valuable than that in my eyes. But the one thing I will say is this definitely puts the Jets in the conversation to land Odell Beckham Jr. Because when we signed McCall Hardman just an hour ago, or whenever that was, I was saying OBJ might be out of the conversation now since we just added another receiver. And at that point, I was convinced that Elijah's staying put. But now Elijah's gone. I think Odell Beckham Jr. is very likely to be a New York Jet. And I honestly don't know how I feel about this trade because it's really hard to know what's going on behind closed doors because Elijah Moore could, for all we know, still tell the Jets that he doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to play for the Jets, regardless if we get Aaron Rodgers or not. I don't know why he wouldn't want to play here. But if that was the case, then you ship him out. If he still did not want to be with the Jets, it makes sense. Take him what the value is for him. Ship him to a place that he wants to be. Let him go to Cleveland. If that was the case, that was the case. But if the Jets just traded him because they want, this is another thing. It's really hard to evaluate this trade until we get to see the final product of the wide receiver room because now the wide receiver room is Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, Denzel Mims, Corey Davis, McCole Hardman. So we have 4 receivers on this team. Potentially giving up Corey Davis in that trade. So interesting stuff, man. Interesting stuff. If I had to guess, I think the receiver room is officially now going to be Odell Beckham Jr. included in this deal, included in this package with this Jets receiver room, with Corey Davis being shipped away to Aaron Rodgers. How do you guys feel about that hypothetical scenario? Because that's no given, by the way. I'm not sitting here saying OBJ is a guarantee, but we're hearing reports and seeing that Dallas traded for Brandon Cooks. That takes them out of the OBJ sweepstakes. Now it puts the Jets in a situation where, okay, let's go get McCole Hardman. He replaces Braxton Berrios. And now we ship away Elijah Moore. We have another hole to fill at the receiver room. Now, unless the New York Jets feel like they want to draft a receiver at 13, maybe they want to go and get JSN. Maybe that's a thing, right? That could be a thing as well. So shout out to all 300 of you guys tuning into the stream. We got a lot of things to break down in this live show, guys. Welcome in. Hit that thumbs up button. Woo, this is an interesting conversation we're going to have. Lyrical says, I feel bad because I know he was your guy. Gonna miss him. Yeah, man, he was my guy. He definitely was my guy. And anybody that's followed my channel, you guys know that he was my guy. So this stings for me. But listen, that's part of being a fan. These things happen. Business is a business. And you get attached to these players, and sometimes they get shipped off. Now I have a signed stealth black Elijah Moore jersey. What am I going to do with that? I don't know. I'm definitely going to buy a stealth black Garrett Wilson jersey, though. That's exactly what I'm about to do. Probably today, because I need a stealth black jersey to rock. I am 0 for 2 on my stealth black jerseys, guys. First one was Jamal Adams, then was Elijah Moore. I think my third one is going to be Garrett Wilson. I think that's going to be a good luck charm. But it is what it is, man. Jets Forever's mom with $2 says, does this make it closer to Rodgers? I don't think this makes it closer or less closer to Rodgers. I still think the Rodgers timetable doesn't really correlate with this stuff. But we'll see if we get any news from the Rodgers standpoint. Randy says more sabotage 2 games last year being mad. And that's true. Now, the Jets could be looking at him as a liability in the locker room, not a good teammate, because he was a distraction last year. If you really want to prove it, I mean, that's what it was. Elijah Moore was a distraction last year, and that's the unfortunate reality of the situation, and maybe a big reason why the Jets wanted to move on from him. Exactly. Guys, I'm not going to jinx Garrett. I promise. I promise. Okay? Now you guys think you're going to blame me now. All right. How does the chat feel right now? How does the chat feel? Because I definitely did not expect this to happen. Now everyone thinks Rodgers is going to rock number 8. Very possible. That was his college number, and now it's officially available. Hey, if he rocks number 8, I can't even rock an 8 with the Rodgers taped over it because I have Elijah Moore's signature on the 8. Oh, my freaking God. So I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I'm not a fan of this move. And I just am telling you how I feel. But you do got to look at it from the scope where the Jets had to make this move if Elijah Moore just wanted out. And that's why it's disappointing. That's why it's disappointing to me, because I really felt like Elijah Moore had another part of his game to be unlocked, man. Another part of his game to be unlocked with Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett. And I think he's going to do great things with Cleveland. I really do. Deshaun Watson and him with Amari Cooper. Yeah, I think he's going to do great things in Cleveland. But it's all good because we're going to replace him with someone better, baby. Come on. Jexican44 with the $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. He says, I can easily smell Aaron Rodgers coming by. Yeah, he's coming. He is coming. He's coming, baby. Thank you for the $5 donation, my man. Appreciate that. Plenty of time is seen more open. And plenty of times has seen more pull up on his routes, and run block is terrible. Fair deal for both teams. Yeah, there's definitely some times last year where Elijah Moore was open and was missed. And there's other times where he quit on his route. And there's other times where he was a liability in the run block. He did not have a good season last year. He had a sophomore slump, mentally, physically, talent-wise, everything. You name it. He just wasn't there last year. It's that simple. So I think it's a fair deal if you look at it from that eyes. I just feel like Elijah Moore is a little more value than just moving up from the 3rd round into the 2nd round. But the one thing I will say is we definitely helped out our draft compensation to help out to get Aaron Rodgers. Because if the Jets want to include 2 2nd-round picks now, we could do that. We have 2 2nd-round picks. That's pretty darn good. I'm pretty sure we have back-to-back picks, actually, 42 and 43. I'm serious. You're Richie, bro. Please don't buy Black G17 jersey. That's not going to finish good. It will finish good, and I'm going to break the curse and prove it to you all. Prove it to you all. How about that? My man John says this is a terrible trade. Trading Elijah Moore to move up 30 spots in the draft is a joke. I honestly believe that he's worth more than this, and I agree, John. I'm shocked. If the Jets traded Elijah Moore, I thought they'll get more out of him. At least just a second straight up, right? Wait till GW switches to 5. I agree. I am going to wait because there is a chance he does switch to 5. That is true. That is true. Oh, yeah, we have picked 43. But let me know your guys' thoughts. I'm going to put a poll in the chat right now because I love to hear what you guys have to say. Happy or mad with this Elijah Moore trade? Happy, mad. And then I'll add a 3rd option. Neutral. Let me know in the chat. Vote and hit that thumbs up button, guys. We got a extended stream today. I know that I had to cut the one short of the McCall Hardman deal because I had an appointment. And by the way, I was in my appointment. It was like a doctor's appointment, whatever. I'm fine. It's just a checkup. And I hear my phone buzzing. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God, the Jets had to make a move. Why is my phone buzzing like this? And my first instinct was the Aaron Rodgers trade. But nope, I checked my phone. I see my friends blowing up my phone that Elijah Moore is traded. I'm like, wow. Well, I was just live a half hour ago telling you guys that I still don't believe Elijah Moore is going anywhere. How bad do I look? But that's the thing. I can admit when I'm wrong, and I'm wrong. I was wrong. I really thought that the Jets valued Elijah Moore. Well, you know what? That could not be the case though, because the Jets could still value Elijah Moore the way I do. But the simple thing is that Elijah Moore and his camp could simply just tell the Jets, "We don't want to freaking be here. So it's better if you get to ship us away, so you don't have to make any issues." And that's probably what happened. Because again, when he officially requested the trade during the season last year, the Jets could have traded him away, but they didn't because they valued him at the time. But now he's gone. He is gone. So the polls has 45% of you guys says, neutral. Okay. If we sign OBJ or JSN, everyone will be saying Elijah who. And now this is true. I believe that this is putting the Jets, and I think it's one of these two solutions. Odell Beckham Jr. or a wide receiver, either at 13 or with one of those second-round picks. But I believe one of those second-round picks, if not both of them, will be packaged for Aaron Rodgers. Unless the Aaron Rodgers trade goes down after the NFL draft, then we can keep all these draft picks. Justin Thomas with the $5 super chat says his deal is up in 2 years. We have Lazard for at least 3, and Wilson will be up for a contract then. Take the second, get Rodgers, draft JMS. I'm all in with JMS, bro. If we're replacing Elijah Moore with JMS, then yeah, you can sell me on that. 100%. 100%. I honestly prefer him over OBJ. Like OBJ is still a hard sell for me, but I can get around it. I can get around it. What happens to Mims now? Now, I still believe Mims is not going anywhere because I believe Corey Davis is going to be the odd man out, and he's going to get traded to the Packers because we need to keep Denzel Mims for the perspective of being the backup behind Alan Lazard. Because you have to look at the wide receivers as not just like everybody plays the same position wide receiver. That's not true. You need to have a big-bodied threat on the outside, physical, that can run block. That's Alan Lazard, and that's Denzel Mims. And that's Corey Davis, but I believe Corey Davis is going to be traded. Now I can definitely see us taking JSN at 13. Then with 1 second rounder, we get a tackle or center, and then the other second rounder we trade for Rodgers. Yeah, I think that's definitely the vision I can see, man. Trading away Elijah Moore puts us in a situation to be really aggressive at the receiver room. And I know that we have Garrett Wilson. I know that we already got Alan Lazard. I know that we just got Hardman, but we need another big-time threat in this offense next to Garrett Wilson and those boys with Aaron Rodgers, okay? That's what we need. That's what we freaking need. A lot of you guys are talking about Randall Cobb. Yeah, I mean, Randall Cobb is in on the – Randall Cobb is definitely on the wish list. But hey, let's not forget about Mecole Hardman real quick. Mecole Hardman is a damn pretty quality wide receiver that we just got. If you really want to think of it this way, the Jets traded Elijah Moore and a third-round pick for a second-round pick and Mecole Hardman today. That's what it feels like. Even though he technically just came in free agency, but that's what the moves we made today. Today, the Jets acquired the second-round pick at the 42 spot and Mecole Hardman, and we gave up Elijah Moore and a third-round pick. That's what the move was today. Whew. Crazy stuff. I'm really curious to see how Jets Twitter and all you guys are reacting because I haven't had a chance to be on Jets Twitter. Like I said, I was away from my office during this. I love E. Moore, but Mecole clears him easy. Interesting take here. Mims learned last season. Moore did not. Be good Be a good soldier. Keep your mouth shut and look after your team mate before yourself. True that. True that. 42nd for Elijah. What a steal. But you got to put into consideration, we got the 42nd and we gave up the 74th. So we basically moved up from 74 to 42 by giving up Elijah Moore. That's the trade. Odell looks a little more likely. Yep. Elise has 538 yards and 5 touchdowns his first year, 446 yards and 1 touchdown his second year. Putting the play calling aside, that production is not good. So it's hard to warrant a straight second for Elijah based on that. And that's true. You can't trade someone based on potential. It comes with more production. Everyone's saying terrible trade by JD, but JD is not done yet. So quick to judge. Let's see what's next. Now, this is true. It's really hard to evaluate this trade until we figure out the final product of the deal. And what I mean by that is who's next? Who are we signing OBJ? Wait for the draft. Are we drafting someone a big wide receiver? We can't really evaluate this trade. Obviously, we're going to react now to this news and really break it down as a fan base. But it's hard to really talk about it without knowing the grand scheme of plan at the wide receiver position yet. You feel me on that? That's the difference. Richie, you were there during training camp. Elijah is different. Speed, quickness, route running. Terrible trade. I was there, man. But that I will say, John, all that tangibles that I fell in love with in training camp did not translate to the season, unfortunately. 74 to 42 is a steep difference. Can get a more established prospect. Once you get into the third round, success rate drops off. Absolutely. I mean, that's good value. We moved up in the draft a substantial amount for a player that I guess didn't want to be here. He didn't want to be here. And I think that has a lot more to do with this trade than anything. Hey, Richie, we sign OBJ, and I think pick 43 goes to Green Bay for Rodgers. Then we double in draft at lineman in rounds 1 and 2. Broderick Jones at 13. JMS ain't going to 42, Big Frank. That would be great. He ain't falling that far. That's a dream, right? Right, though? That would be a great dream. That trade was terrible, but then again, Moore didn't want to be here. That's kind of where my head is at. Mims is 3 years in and has caught less than 20 passes in the last 2 years. Dude is a bust and complete non-factor consideration at this point. Yeah, he's nothing more than depth, Michael. He's not a starter, right? That's the whole thing about Denzel Mims. Nobody's expecting him to start. He's a backup for a reason. Richie, your sound coming in and out of the mic. I actually just got a brand new mic, guys. I'm sorry if the mic quality is low. All right. Hopefully it should be coming in better. I bought a new microphone, and it's coming soon. And I've been having audio problems. And I know it's just muted for a second. My apologies. So hopefully the audio can start getting back into better quality. This microphone's old. This is the same microphone I've had since the beginning of my YouTube journey. Got to upgrade this guy. And I did. So that will be happening soon. So bear with me with the technical difficulties, guys. My apologies with that. B. Lopez with the $5. Thank you. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Chiefs and Angels says, as a Buckeyes fan, I definitely think Garrett and JSN would be unstoppable, just like their college days. Absolutely unstoppable duo, especially if y'all get Rodgers. Rodgers will know how to use them. Sign me up, bro. Sign me up. Also, since you're a Chiefs fan, oh my gosh, I'm frozen. My face is frozen. But you can still hear me, luckily. Chiefs fan, though, I want to get your thoughts about McCole Hardman. What's your thoughts of McCole Hardman? Was that a good move? I think it is. You know him more than us. We got another Chiefs fan. Honestly, you guys won't lose. You're only second, and you upgraded wide receiver 4 McCole at only 60% of the cost. I think it's hard for you Jets fans to see it right now until A-Rod is traded. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. McCole is very underrated. I agree. Whenever I watch Chiefs games, I always liked his game, man. Hey, Rich, where would 42 and 43 land us? We use them to trade up into the first. Now, we're going to trade one of those two for Aaron Rodgers. Justin with the $5. Thank you, my man. This may be a wild take, but I think we upgraded with Hardman over Moore. Last 2 years are similar in numbers. Besides this season, Hardman was hurt. Yeah, I mean, if you go look at the numbers, let's do that real quick. If you go look at the numbers, Hardman has been a little bit more productive in his career, and he's coming off an injury. So Elijah Moore had a fully healthy season this year, and his numbers were not good. I mean, his last fully healthy season, McCole Hardman had 59 catches, 693 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This past season was a little injury riddled, but he had 25 catches, 297 yards, and 4 touchdowns. In his first season with the Chiefs in 2019, he had 6 touchdowns. So this is a guy who is a speedy receiver, man. Speedy. Hardman is Berrios upgrade. Agreed. That's what he is. Hardman is actually faster than Tyreek. Ooh, I like to hear that. Are Jets seeking another second because they know 13 will be included for Rodgers? Or they just want to make sure they have a second round pick this year. So we trade a second for Rodgers. We still have a second. So we still have a first and second now. Feel me? Sign OBJ or trade for Hopkins? I'd rather sign OBJ. I don't want to give up any more assets. Now the Jets should just draft QB Clayton Tune and wide receiver Andre Levias. Both late rounds. Yeah, man. I think that the late rounds are going to be an interesting conversation to have. Hardman got the sauce, too. Woo. We know who really got the sauce, though. Have to factor in the poor coaching and poor quarterback play for Elijah Moore's lackluster performances. Yeah, absolutely. But he still did not. I mean, Garrett Wilson flourished as a rookie with those coaches and those quarterbacks last year. So think of it that way as well. Moore didn't want to be in New York. It is what it is. Yeah, that's exactly how I'm looking at it, man. He did not want to be here. And if you don't want to be here, you're not going to be here. How about that? See ya, E. Moore. Your legacy as a spoiled brat is firmly intact in the NFL. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate. Andrew says, love what we did today. Lost a guy who didn't want to be here for a guy that does. Plus, has way more speed than Moore. I like that take, Andrew. Richie, who did we get for Moore? So the trade details is right below me. The Jets got a second-round pick this year, pick 42, and we gave up a third-rounder this year as well. Can I ask, is the Jets now the team to beat in the AFC? Give us Rodgers, and yes, sir. Also, EM wasn't targeted at all at one point. Yeah, he wasn't. And there were some times where he gave up on his routes. And I'm just speaking out how it is. I was very disappointed with Elijah this year, bro. I was hyping him up all offseason, too, last year. Trade down a few slots from 13 to pick up another 2. I'm down. I think that would be a good idea. Sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. Thanks for the $2, Chris. Oh, Parks is checking in. Have fun with Zach Wilson as your QB this year. This proves me that Parks is scared of the bad man Aaron Rodgers coming to town, baby. You know he's coming, Parks. Stop lying to these people. Stop lying to the people. All right, so now we wait to see what the next move is. Fake news in the chat results in timeout. No fake news in the chat's allowed. All right, so I think that the New York Jets have to make another move at the wide receiver position. Now the big question is, wait a second. I just picked up on something. So McCole Hardman, before the trade was announced, tweeted from Adam Schefter. I'll just put it on the screen so you guys can know what I'm talking about. Was this a shot at Elijah Moore? Or am I just reading am I reading into something? So Adam Schefter tweets, the Jets now add a player to run jet sweeps and more. McCall Hardman said way, all capitals in quotes, more than jet sweeps. Does that mean he's replacing Elijah Moore? Or am I reading too much into this? I don't know. Am I reading too much into this, folks? Maybe I am. I don't know. Why would he do it like that? Imagine he added another O in the more. This is wild stuff, man. And now this offense, at first, when we signed McCall Hardman, I was like, all right, the receiver room's set. Not anymore. Elijah Moore's gone. Now, let's go sign OBJ, or let's just draft the receiver at 13. And I think that's very likely. Very freaking likely. You're reading too much into it. You just emphasize and respond. Probably am. Elijah Mid is just the guy. So we are seeing some Jets fans saying it's fine. Elijah Moore is a bum, is a bust, overrated. And there's other Jets fans that are like, no, why do we trade Elijah? So I do feel like it's a mixed emotions. But then the live chat says 45% are they're neutral about the trade. 30% are happy. 25% are mad. I find that very interesting. I find that very, very interesting. But there has to be another move on the horizon. There has to be. Do you think Elijah started problems with Zach? I do think so, yes. And Mike LaFleur. Richie, get that number 8 jersey out, remove the nameplate, and get ready to place with Rodgers. Now, the unfortunate thing with this, Dave, I'll show you guys, actually, so you know what I'm talking about. I'll just show you instead of talking about it. This is why I can't do that. So, here's my Elijah Moore jersey. If Aaron Rodgers wears number 8, I can't simply just switch it because, look, he signed it. Elijah signed it. This is a signed Elijah jersey. What the heck do I do with it now? I can't transition this to a freaking Rodgers jersey if he wears 8. Unless I white it out. I don't know. Oh, man. He freaking signed it. Come on. I have a signed jersey. He also signed my Jets Media t-shirt. It's all good. It's all good, guys. I'm just reacting a little differently because the people that knew me and watched my channel knew that I had a personal connection with Elijah because I met him in person last year when he signed that jersey. I saw him out to dinner. He recognized me. I saw him with Jamal Adams and Marcus May. He shouted me out. Like he knew who I was. So I kind of had that connection with him. And I really was rooting for him. And I really liked his game. And I thought he would be great with the Jets. So this kind of stings from that standpoint. But that's the reality of being a fan. Stuff like this happens. And it's fine. I'm ready to turn the page. Richie put no in front of more. No more. That's funny. Richie, to be honest, whenever I watch Jets games, I swear all Moore ever did was lateral motion or arbitral motion. His routes seemed lazy and couldn't get separation against better secondaries. Yeah, he definitely quit on his routes a little more than I was expecting this year. He definitely step up like we thought he would. Everybody, if you're enjoying the show right now, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Let's see if we can get to 200 likes. Let's get it going. 200 likes is the goal for this show. Get the Moore jersey to a Browns jersey. Nah. Now, who we use in special teams for return or the jet sweep? Mecole Hardman. Mecole Hardman is the new man for that. Odds we sign OBJ, I think they skyrocketed. With the signing of Hardman and the trade of Elijah Moore, this puts the Jets in a big position to land OBJ. And if they don't land OBJ, this is going to be the question leading up to the draft. Which wideout at 13? That's going to be the question. That's going to be the question. And maybe I'm biased. I'm not even an Ohio State fan, but maybe I'm biased towards getting JSN because visualizing him with Garrett Wilson would be a really fun story, man. In your opinion, how detrimental do you think this is to the Jets offense? I don't think it's detrimental. I would not use that word because we can't really talk about how this impacts the Jets offense until we figure out the final product of the wide receiver room. If we replace Elijah Moore with Odell Beckham Jr. or we replace Elijah Moore with JSN, I don't think Jets fans are going to be that upset. If we don't land OBJ, if we don't draft a receiver at 13 and we roll into this season with the receivers we have on the roster with like Randall Cobb edition or something, then it'll be a little concerning. But I bet you that won't happen. JSN season. JSN season. I'm in, my man. I'm all in. Jets might draft Quentin Johnston is my choice because Rodgers likes tall wide receivers. Lazard 6'5", Johnson 6'4". Now, I wouldn't be against this because that man's a freaking stud, but I don't think it will happen because we need a slot. Lazard is that 6'5". We already have the tall receiver. We have Garrett Wilson. And then JSN is that perfect guy that can line up on the outside and the inside. You need that that versatile weapon to really mix with Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard. You don't want to draft another Allen Lazard. And we also have Denzel Mims, who's 6'4" or 5. As much as I don't want Elijah Moore to go, let's be honest with Wilson, Lazard, and now Hardman. Moore was going to complain the entire season, but now with this trade, Moore will break out with Browns. Yeah, I do think he's going to break out with the Browns, guys. I really do think he's going to be good on the Browns. He's going to be good. Richie, I want Zeke so bad. We need to be the Ohio State Jets. But he is one of the best pass blocking running backs out there. I don't know how I feel about Ezekiel Elliott. I'm on the side of no thank you. But if we get for a vet minimum, I guess. Moore will not break out in Browns. Amari Cooper is the guy over there. Yeah, I mean, you could still be good with the number one receiver next to you. OBJ is not the same player, Richie. I'll be pissed if he gets hurt early, but he will get hurt. Yeah, I'm very worried about OBJ as well, but I do think him having a whole year off to repair that knee helped his game, helped his physical body. Seriously. Feels like we didn't get enough from Moore. Pun. It does feel like that, and that's why this trade kind of rubs me the wrong way, because I feel like Elijah Moore is a little more valuable than just moving up to 42. Even though that is a very valuable pick, we had to give up a third for it. Moore will be missed indeed. He embarrassed the organization in early part of the season. There will be consequences when the front office is legit. It's a business at the end of the day. Yeah, bro, he did. He made a really gigantic distraction when we did not need one the most last year. And that rubbed the Jets for the wrong way, I'm sure. I'm sure Woody Johnson was like, you know what, get this guy out of here. For all I know. F16 Jet Fuel, the $5 super chat. Thank you, my man. Honestly, Moore isn't that great. Good route runner, questionable awareness, subpar consistent catch skills. The only bad part of the trade is losing the third. Yeah. And Elijah Moore right now is all potential with him. He hasn't shown production. The only production that we've seen from Elijah Moore was the final 5 games of his rookie season before we got injured. That was the only time we saw the potential of the Elijah Moore that we drafted early in the second round. Second year, he had one good game against the Bears. That's it. And disappointing second year. There's 2 years left of the control with Elijah. And I would guarantee you, I would have said this even before we traded him, that the Jets are not going to extend him. So I had a feeling they would trade him, but not now. I thought they would trade him like next year or something. 600 in here, not even 200 likes. Come on. Let's get it going. Smash that thumbs up button, baby. We got 609 people in here. Nice. Let's do those things. Come on. Elijah for a straight second, I'd be fine with. We were asking for a 1 for him last year. The third with Elijah for a second does not seem like a good trade. Yeah, it definitely doesn't on that standpoint. But when you look at the stats that he had, NFL GMs are not going to trade for potential. They want production. And if you look at his stats, it doesn't warrant a second round pick outright. That's why the Jets had to include that third pick. That's the reason. It's unfortunate, but it's the reality. Right? It's unfortunate, but it's the reality. I think this helps out the Jets' capital for the Green Bay Packers trade. Mims would be a great number 2 with Wilson. I don't know about that. I love me some Mims. Love me some Mimsy. But he's gonna be the backup this year, guys. Come on. Come on. People saying Hardman is a downgrade from Elijah, just don't watch football. Who's saying that? We got people saying that? Wilson, Hardman, Lazard, Mims, CD, Uzama, Conklin, Ruckert. That's what we got so far. Thoughts on McCole? I love the trade with McCole Hardman, man. I made a whole stream on it, and I was saying, this doesn't mean we're trading Elijah Moore. I look like a buffoon. But I think that McCole Hardman is a big-time addition because he replaces Braxton Berrios, and he's better. Now we need to replace – so look at it this way, guys. Alan Lazard is replacing Corey Davis. McCole Hardman is replacing Braxton Berrios. Now we need to find the replacement for Elijah Moore. OBJ, JSN. Those are the type of guys that the Jets front office are weighing. Honestly, I'd prefer JSN over OBJ for a lot of reasons, right? Yeah, 4 years of cheap control. Technically 5 with the 5th-year option. He's younger, can develop, but better for the long term. Jeff Smith is gone too. Yes. So, yeah. Jeff Smith gone as well. And Jeff Smith was like wide receiver 5 or 6. So we got some things going on with the receiver room. We got some things going on with the receiver room, folks. Richie, I think OBJ might be on his way. I agree. It's either OBJ or a receiver at 13, guys. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. Now we have Packers fans reacting on Twitter, reporters thinking trade impacts them with the trade. Lazard, Wilson on the outside, Harmon inside with Conklin at tight end, Hall and AR in the backfield. Bro, we are looking stacked, and we didn't even draft yet. The trade works because this guy's a faster version of Elijah Moore, and we could just find we could just the field now, 3 speedy receivers, and we have space to get OBJ. Now the Packers get 42nd and 43rd. Yeah, bro. If the trade has to get done and it's both second round picks, so be it. Maybe this helps out the trade for Rodgers. Cobb makes too much sense. Yeah, he kind of does. I can see Cobb being the last guy in the receiver room, like to replace Jeff Smith. But Jeff Smith did bring special teams value that he won't be. I think we draft a wide receiver, might even be in the first round. Yeah, we're drafting a receiver either in round 1 or 2. By the way, fun fact, Joe Douglas has not drafted a receiver in the first or second round in his first 3 drafts as a Jets GM. And he's traded one of them. Our GM is a boss. Yes, he is. I'm good with the trade. We're going to send one of those picks to Green Bay. So hopefully that means we're close to a deal being done. Yeah, I hope so. Richie, Hardman is the replacement for Elijah Moore. Hardman has the second most yards after the catch besides Debo. JD is a genius for trading an unworthy player for a second round. In JD, we trust. Now, I do think Hardman is going to have a big impact on this team, but I still think they still got to add a receiver. I like Hardman as wide receiver 4, but that doesn't mean he's not getting on the field. But let's go. JD likes to draft his receivers. Yep. First it was Mims, then it was Elijah Moore, then it was Garrett Wilson. Who will it be this year? 13 O-line is definitely a possibility as well. Offensive tackle, no doubt. How many wide receivers do we need? This is how you got to look at it, folks. With the assumption that Corey Davis is gone, because he's still on the team, by the way. Corey Davis is being replaced by Alan Lazard. Braxton Berrios is being replaced by McCole Hardman. Elijah Moore is being replaced by, we don't know yet. That's how it's going to look like. Well, Hardman is in number 2. Hey, sign me up. We need to draft O-line at 13. Definitely still in the conversation. I really don't want OBJ. Draft another wideout. OBJ is definitely the most polarizing player available. I think watch Hardman more. Oh, he's not Braxton. Oh, I'm not saying he's Braxton. He's an upgrade over Braxton. I said that. He's a gadget guy that gets sweeps. When you give him the ball in open space, he can take it to the house. He's a guy that can lurk over the middle. He's a vertical threat. He can return kicks. When I say he's replacing Berrios, that's not a knock on Hardman. He's an upgrade over Berrios. Big time upgrade. But remember, Berrios was involved in the offense at wide receiver 4. Just because you're listed as wide receiver 4 does not mean you're not involved in the offense, is my point, guys. We want to be deep. We want to have options here. The question is, when are we going to re-sign Quinton Williams? I feel like that has got pushed under the table. Yeah, we're going to worry about that probably not until like camp in the summertime. Richie, this also mean AR can be signed by Friday or this weekend. This second is to close the deal with Green Bay. I hope so, T. Rivera. I hope so. Ridiculous trade. They should have never given up the third round pick. More for Brown's second pick. That's it. I hate it. It's okay, Eldorado. It's okay. Franchise tag on Quinn, and I can see it coming to make him prove himself again. I hope not, man. That would be a mistake. You gotta take care of your own. Take care of your own. Richie, you're on top of it all. I apologize for early remark. I was listening to a friend and wanted to update him. What did you say? I don't know what you're referring to. No need to apologize. I don't like their trade, but needed more out. Yeah, it seemed like Elijah Morris didn't want to be here, folks. Sad truth. It's the sad truth. Wilson, Lazard, and Davis restructure contract. If this means we can keep Corey Davis, hey, I think that would be a good move. But I feel like we can upgrade there, and that's a one-year flyer. And I know that we have 1 year to go all in with Rodgers, but you could free up $10 million, go younger at 13, or I don't know. Definitely interesting. To be fair, it was Zach Wilson's fault he wasn't happy. Yeah, but he also like needs to be professional. Garrett Wilson went off. It was LaFleur as well. I don't see Green Bay coming off of Rodgers for a second round pick. That's delusional thinking. I'm a Lions fan, not a Green Bay. I think it's delusional to think you're getting 13. Jets media play-by-play on Sunday games are cool. I'd be watching. I appreciate that. I cannot wait to do that again this season. Let's go. My live play-by-play reactions are going to be back. Better than ever. I'm not giving up more than a second for Rodgers. Rodgers a 1-year rental. This is the last move by Jets besides Rodgers. Trust me. We'll see. Who will be the slot? Good question. Right now, it's just going to be a rotation of Hardman, and I think we haven't added our slot yet. McCall Hardman reaction. My reaction to Hardman was great. I'm pretty happy. I'm very happy about Hardman, and I thought that means that we are set on receivers until we just traded away Elijah. I had my reaction to Hardman's news a couple of hours ago, whenever that broke, and I had to go somewhere, so I had to end the stream to go to my appointment. And while I was there, my phone was blowing up. I'm like, why is my phone blowing up? Did the Jets do something? And I get to my phone. Oh, the Jets just traded Elijah Moore. Richie, if I see you at MetLife this season, are you a handshake or a hug guy? I like both. I'm a hug guy. I don't mind. Little, come on, bring it in. Wishful thinking. If you get Rodgers, you 50 million over the cap. No, we're not. I don't think you know how the cap works, my friend. Hardman second in Yak past 2 seasons, only behind Debo. Let him know, baby. I personally think Rodgers is not good, or at least he was awful in both games versus Detroit last year. Watch the film, declining arm strength. He was playing injured. He had an injured thumb. So that could be the reason why the arm strength looks bad. Richie Hurt, I swear I felt this way with the Jamal trade. He was my favorite. Yeah, honestly, Fresh, um, I'm not as hurt because this feels different because I felt I was the most hurt when the news broke that he requested a trade. That's when I was hurt. Okay. That's where the pain really settled. But since then, I kind of accepted the fact that Elijah doesn't have a future here beyond his rookie deal. So I detached my attachment to him. But I feel you, man. And I was the same way with Jamal, Fresh. I was the same way with Jamal. Trust me. Jets have to take JSN. I agree. I'm a Dolphins fan, but Aaron Rodgers is an upgrade over anything you have. You guys are just hating in these comments. Bruh, that's 100%. People need to realize that the Jets would have been in the playoffs last year with any type of quarterback. That's average. So give us an old Aaron Rodgers that knows the game wisely. Yeah, 100%. Moral is malcontent. Good riddance, bro. I do like to see some Jets fans come out and just say, yep, later. Wide receiver at 13, LOL. Richie with the rare bad take. Yeah, I'm not saying that 13 it has to be receiver. I think it would be smarter to do offensive line to get the offensive tackle. But all I'm saying is don't sleep on Joe Douglas getting playmakers because he's obsessed with them. But I think a lot of it has to do with how the rest of free agency goes. Say that we sign OBJ and we still didn't get an offensive tackle. Well, 13 is going to be an offensive lineman. Say the Jets sign an offensive lineman or trade for an offensive tackle or something, then the pick's going to be wide receiver. So a lot of things have to go up until the draft before we really figure out where the Jets are going at 13. But I can definitely see them going offensive line. That is the more important avenue. And then get a receiver in the second round. You feel me? Whew. What a day this was, man. What a weird day. Stephanie's in the chat. No OBJ. She does not want OBJ. Why is that, Steph? Shout out to Steph in the chat. I didn't even notice you were in here. How you doing? Why did we do this, Richie? I think we did this because he wanted out. And the Jets are like, yep, you turn your back on us. Goodbye. Richie, what the Jets fans need to understand is we build in a culture of high character players, unselfish. Elijah Moore and Adams didn't fit our culture. You don't complain on a winning streak. That's true. He was complaining when we were winning because he wasn't individually getting what he wanted. And that is not a good look. Not a good look. As a Dolphins fan, I'm happy Moore was traded. Well, that's because he torched you guys as a rookie. I remember that game. His best game of his career was against the Dolphins as a rookie. Explain how your team intends to eat 60 million. Because if you know how cap works, it's a little complicated. It's not 60 million against the cap. There's cash involved, signing bonuses, and all that things. So it's $15 million of cap space we would need to afford his contract. It's over 2 years. He's due 60 million cash, but that does not mean it's 60 million against the cap. Big difference. Big difference, my friend. We got all the bullets, but no gun right now. The gun's coming. Joe D is a wizard. Let him know, Melvin. Let him know. The cap is just a speed bump. Facts. Don't read too much into the cap, man. That's true. Just like Mitchell Robinson on the New York Knicks. You don't complain when your team is winning and you're not getting the ball enough. Yeah, it's unfortunate to see Mitch do that. Zoe wants Hopkins. I see a lot of Jets fans are talking about Hopkins all of a sudden. Would you guys want to get DeAndre Hopkins? Because I am seeing a lot of people talking about that, and I'm curious to get your thoughts. JSN had a dinner with Giants GM Joe Sheen and Brian Daboll, and he said it would be a dream come true to play in the Big Apple. Hey, maybe you will play in the Big Apple. It is not for the G-men. Love D Hop. I want D Hop over OBJ. Hey, maybe we can flip that second round pick we just got for DeAndre Hopkins. All I know. AR-12 plus Hopkins for a fourth, maybe or less. DeAndre Hopkins, well, the Cardinals are demanding a second round pick plus something else. Not true. Garrett Wilson's our best receiver by a large margin. And that's coming from someone that was a big Elijah Moore fan. Moore didn't want to be here. Good move by Joe D. Exactly. What about Randall Cobb? I want him to be wide receiver 6 if he's on the Jets. Would love Hopkins, but with Lazard, it doesn't make sense unless I'm missing something. Yeah, I agree, which is why OBJ or a rookie makes more sense than Hopkins in my eyes. Yeah. We have a big bodied in Lazard right now. But like DeAndre Hopkins is DeAndre Hopkins. So it's hard to say no to that. Feel me? Listen, it comes down to this, folks. Elijah Moore requested a trade when the Jets were on a 4-game winning streak because he wasn't getting the ball. He put himself over the team. And if you have a team that has players that's being selfish and put yourself before the team and not benefit your teammates and bring the camaraderie of the locker room down when vibes should be high when you're winning, by the way, from a team that's never won like that in a decade plus, that's an issue. And the front office doesn't forget that. They don't want another situation to arise this year when they're adding playmakers where Elijah doesn't get the ball and he demands another trade and demands another distraction when we're in an all-in season. So from that perspective, it makes sense. When Richie told us about the dinner story where he saw Elijah Moore at dinner with Marcus May and Jamal Adams, I knew he was gone. It's crazy. That's true. It's crazy that that's true. For anybody that doesn't know what he's talking about, I think I have a photo of it. Yep, here it is. Here's me. This was last June. Me at a restaurant in New York City with Elijah Moore, and I'm shaking Jamal Adams' hand, and there's Marcus May in the hat. And that's my face. If you guys believe me, that's actually me. There's Jamal. Yeah, I was out to dinner and I saw Elijah out with Jamal Adams and Marcus May. And when I told you guys that, everyone was like, "Oh no, Elijah's gonna be traded." Hey, didn't sound like he wanted to be traded when I was talking to him. I see the headlines now. Rumor has it Moore wouldn't give up number 8 for Aaron. Yep, that's the reason. That's the reason. It's funny. Didn't Garrett Wilson say JSN was better than him? Yeah, he did. And he also said that he wants the Jets to draft him. and that he'd win Rookie of the Year. If Moore can't make it work in Cleveland with Watson, then we'll know it was him, not Zach or Mike LaFleur. It's true. He has a big opportunity to play good football next to Amari Cooper and Deshaun Watson. No doubt. Replacing Moore with JSN, I'm with it. I'm with it too. Jets forever wants Jalen Hyatt. And there's a lot of good options. Garrett Wilson and JSN will be the next Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, but on the same team. I rooting for more like Sam. Yeah. Sam didn't do his dirty, though. Aside from OBJ, what other big name free agents are out there? Hopkins is not a free agent, but he's available via the trade market. But we're not going to pay big for a receiver. We've already paid big for a receiver in Lazard. We're not going to, which is why we went out and get Hardman. Like OBJ contract, if we got him, is not going to be high. Hardman is a Berrios replacement, so we're good. And by the way, he's better than Berrios. So it's a big time upgrade. Megan, I'm so freaking pissed right now about this trade. I'm sorry, Megan. Just know that it's okay. Let's breathe together. Richie, OBJ only played 8 games in the last 3 years and had 8 touchdowns. What's there to like? 8 games, 8 touchdowns? That's a touchdown a game. Nah, I'm just playing. With OBJ, it's kind of that risk of, if he plays, you're getting a touchdown a game. But if he doesn't, availability is the best ability. So it's a risk. Rich, if we don't draft Roderick in the first, I'm not sure what the plan is. Yeah, I would definitely be on board. That's why this draft is going to be very interesting. Offensive line or receiver? I think I lean more towards offensive line because that's more important. Build through the trenches. Hardman would have caught the ball against the Vikings. This is becoming a Braxton Berrios hate party. I love Berrios, but sorry, man. Get JSN. Moore is a super talent, but he has already shown if he does like the offense or it doesn't go his way, he's a problem. Yeah, and sometimes when you allow yourself to go ahead of the team, that's what happens. You just can't let that happen, bro. Can't let that happen. Wild stuff. Wild freaking stuff, folks. But let me know. How are we feeling? This is some crazy stuff. I wonder if the next Jets move at the receiver room is happening soon. Or do we have to wait until the draft? Jets might draft Brian Branch. The Jets, I don't think, are going to draft a safety in the first round. They don't value that position as highly as the fan base. The fan base thinks that we have the most historical, worst free agents, the worst safeties in the world. I'm not saying our safeties are great or anything, but we're not going to draft one in the first round. I remember last year the Kyle Hamilton debate happened too. If it happens soon, it's going to be OBJ. I agree. I mean, that would probably be the best case because OBJ and then offensive line at 13 would be pretty good. Great move for JD. Shouldn't keep a player that don't want to be here. Bye-bye more. Yes, sir. I could see Hall moving to safety. We don't need that. We got Tony Adams. Melvin, I'm already missing a Braxton, Mike White, and more. The new Jets era is starting. Dolphins fans, those Jets players suck. Dolphins, let's sign that player. Love it. I love it. No more Elijah, Jaime. He's gone. Goodbye. To the Cleveland Browns he goes. I hope the Jets get John Michael Schmitz with one of their picks. Me too. Me too. Me freaking too. Jets fans, why are you mad? He asked for this. Good question, Kelvin. He did ask for this. He put this on himself. Let out from Northern. Love it, man. We appreciate you. Only Debo has more yards after the catch since entering the league than McColl. A-Rod won 2 MVPs throwing the ball, the most balls at or behind the line of scrimmage. You get it? Oh, yeah. This is a move that you give the ball, you give Hardman the ball space. He's going to make fun things happen. Guys, if you're happy about this move or you just want to simply help out the channel, guys, do me a favor and simply hit that like button. So Connor Hughes just tweeted something of significance. Connor Hughes just tweeted sources. Jets' interest in Odell Beckham Jr. described to me as very real. He and Aaron Rodgers are close and have discussed playing together in New York. Basically, Rodgers wants OBJ. With Elijah Moore gone, opening is there. All right, guys. So breaking. I mean, it's not really breaking news. We already knew this, but this is kind of relevant. This is relevant right now because now we know that Elijah Moore being traded opens up. There it is. Here it is, guys. I'm going to tweet this say. I'm going to tweet this out. The Jets' interest in Odell Beckham Jr. is real. All right, folks. Let's hear it in the chat. OBJ to the Jets. How we feel? How would you want that to happen? Let's hear your thoughts in the chat, folks. Aaron Rodgers wants OBJ bad. I'm just tweeting it out. Do you want the Jets to sign him? Let's hear it, guys. OBJ and the Jets, still a possibility. What are we thinking? Boys and girls, what do we think? All right, just sent out the tweet. Woo! Things are heating up. Things are heating up. I went from, yeah, you know what? We signed Hardman. The Jets are done with not getting OBJ. And then the Jets trade away Elijah Moore. Like, oh, OBJ seems very likely now. Elise is not a fan of OBJ. What number would he retire? What number would he wear? Um, Good question. Don't know. He can't wear 3 either. That's Whitehead. Oh, Whitehead sucks. Oh, Whitehead's gonna get cut. If OBJ signs, does that mean Jets don't draft the receiver? Yes, that's what that means. If we sign OBJ, you can say goodbye to the receiver at 13 for sure. Crazy things are happening, folks. Connor Hughes says another tweet. Nothing is imminent with Odell Beckham Jr. Jets, but Rodgers has a desire to play with him. Interest is mutual. Just about finding a number that works for a special receiver, but one with some injury concerns. So that's what Connor Hughes just tweeted next. So he's doubling down. Doubling down. Things are getting spicy. Rio Leo 8 with a $10. Appreciate you, man. Says, Richie, finally, I don't have to see Moore's jersey in the back of you. I was saying this last week until I saw it down 2 days ago. As a Jet fan since Super Bowl III, I can't think of any ex-Giant players that I wanted. Interesting. Well, Rio Leo, you're right. You will not be seeing the Elijah Moore jersey in the back anymore. You will not. Thank you for the $10, my friend, though. I do appreciate that. All right, so I think I'm in the mood to make a dedicated video to the whole wide receiver situation of McCall Hardman in, Elijah Moore out. Does that mean OBJ? So I'm gonna wrap up the show here, guys. I'm gonna make a video. So put that notification bell on so you guys get notified when I do upload that new video. That'll be uploaded in the next half hour or so. I appreciate you guys choosing Jets Media for me to talk about this breaking news. I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys always tuning into the channel. It means a lot to me. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit all the buttons for your boy. We appreciate you guys. Love you all. The Jets get McCall Hardman, trade away Elijah Moore. Is OBJ on his way? Well, we'll find out soon. I'll catch you guys later. Nothing's going on tonight, unfortunately. We were busy, so we couldn't figure out a plan for the AFC's roundtable. Love you guys. Talk to you soon, and let's go Jets. Peace.